Welcome, welcome from India. How is Nigeria? हेलो।
नमस्कार सर।
सर नमस्कार जी।
आपका ऑडियो, योर ऑडियो इज नॉट कमिंग। योर ऑडियो इज नॉट कमिंग अवधेश सर। योर ऑडियो इज नॉट कमिंग, यू आर नॉट ऑडिबल, you are mute. Hmm? Avdesh sir, can you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can very well hear you. Am I audible or not?
Sir, you are not audible.
I think there's something wrong with the mic. Hello.
Sir, you are not audible. Avdesh sir, you are not audible. Can you able to copy me, Avdesh sir?
Yeah, I can, but just a minute. I'm joining.
Madam, oh. Madam, can you able to copy me, Ambassador? Can you able to copy me, Madam? Ambassador, can you able to copy me? You are muted, Madam. You are muted. Yes. Can you able to hear me, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Madam, can you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, your voice is a little loud. Just will be starting just couple of minutes. It's already 2. One of our guests has already here, Professor Meher Master Moose, international Armenian scholar, connected with us from Mumbai. And we have Ambassador Abdullah Ma'am, the Executive Director for Associate of Climate Change and Professional Nigeria. So we are waiting for our guests to come in and just. Namaskar, sir. Namaskar. Can you able to hear me, Ashish, sir?
Arupda, namaskar. Avdej ji, namaskar.
Can you able to hear me, Ashish, sir?
Sure,
Am I
sure.
audible?
Namaskar, sir.
Sure.
Namaskar. Namaskar.
Pranam, pranam.
Is it okay?
Ha.
Arup, sir,
Audible, visible, both.
Yeah. Yeah,
am
yeah,
I
yeah.
audible?
Yeah. Yes, you are audible, sir, now.
For getting
Namaskar.
the voice, I
No
have to
question.
turn off my
Yes,
laptop.
yes, namaskar, sir.
And when I
So,
restarted, then
all
my
of
voice you can hear. You-
Yeah, so now already our guests are already with us in the dais. So without wasting any more time, we'll start for our program. So let me introduce all of our guests today. We have Dr. Ashish Kumar Panda, disaster management expert, connected from New Delhi. We have Engineer Abhesh Kumar, connected from Uttar Pradesh, from Bharti's University. We have Ambassador Dr. Abdullah Ma'am, the Executive Director for Association of Climate Change Professional, connected from Abuja, Nigeria. She will be chairing the program today. And I myself, Ambassador Arun Bhatt, Senior Community Disaster Response Volunteer of All Tripura Disaster Response Volunteer Association. And also we are connected by Dame Dr. Professor Mehem Asamu, international eminent scholar connected from Mumbai, India. So the program for today is one of the most important and vulnerable issues relating to the what community thinks about the climate change action to be taken in the community for uplifting the habitation and doing community service. So we'll try to hear from all of our participants. Those will be here, so they also have an active role today to play for the question answers, and we'll be hearing from our experts who are here today. So I am passing back the microphone to the chair of the program, Ambassador Dr. Abdullah Ma'am, Executive Director for Association of Climate Change Professional Nigeria, for her inaugural address. Back to you, ma'am.
Good morning to everyone from Nigeria, and good morning to everyone in India. For those from other parts of the country which I don't know their timing, I still welcome you to this memorable sensitization and awareness training class. This training is the community voice on climate change action for sustainability, which is rightly about to commence today, being Sunday, the 3rd of July 2022. It is brought to you by the effort of our ambassador, Ambassador Arupta, and it is the program is in collaboration of two associations. That is the Ultra Pura of India and then the SCCPN of Nigeria. Climate change is about the most significant threats in the world now. And especially as the flood is seriously disturbing our brothers and sisters in India, that is why we came together and decide that we should do a sensitization awareness training, so that those of us that are here can also endeavor to tell others that are not here what and what should be done before, during, and after each disaster, especially this of flood that has become a threat presently to our brothers and sisters in India. And Ambassador Haruda have done very well by checking into the nooks and crannies of India, Nigeria, and other countries to get people who have good knowledge concerning what is our problem. And I am believing God that before the end of the program, all the facilitators will do justice to the reason why we are here. Our invited girls, once again, I welcome you all to this sensitization and awareness training, and thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Thank you very much. Ambassador Arupta, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. It is really enlightening kind words from your end. So we also have a network challenge at our end, at least 5 to 10 kilometers away from my normal QTH at my own subdivision. So I have to run with a motorbike. So without wasting any of our time, we have our guests. So we are waiting patiently to hear from them and on more skill so that we make more sensitization to our community and also work for the community. So microphone back to Avdesh ji to take it up. Right.
Hello. I,
Yes, Avdesh sir.
sir, thank you for inviting me. But I would like to say that without delaying, we should start inviting the resource person for their technical session. In the line, I think first name is Ashish sir, so I request you to kindly invite him.
Okay.
Thank you for your input. So we have our great disaster management expert with us, Dr. Ashish Kumar Panda, who has been directly connected with us from New Delhi, capital city of India. Despite of his busy schedule, he is here. So welcome on board, sir. So we are waiting to get more knowledge about your experience that you are working at the community level. The stage is all yours, sir.
Okay, thank you. So at the very outset, I welcome each and everybody who is present here, either from India or from Nigeria or for that sake any other country. Thank you so much for joining this wonderful attempt that is being done by Arup Sir's that organization in Tripura, that is India, and Dr. Abdullah Ma'am's organization that is in Nigeria. So I welcome all of you for this wonderful program. So though I didn't get that much time to prepare a proper, thorough that PowerPoint presentation, but one small presentation is there. So Udaji, I will request you to kindly allow me to upload that presentation.
Okay, sure, sir. You have the rights. You can go for the presentation directly.
Is it visible, Udaji?
Yes, yes, sir. It is quite visible.
So, okay. So, as we all know that this 21st century, we are observing, be it the Asiatic that countries or countries in Africa or be it Europe or even the developed nations like United States of America, China, and so on and so forth. The climate change that we are observing that used to be a natural phenomenon, but because of the anthropogenic, our own human activities, unscientific activities, unorganized activities, the climate change pace that is happening in modern times, that is very dangerous and it is creating lots of problems to each and everybody. The quantum of impact of any climate change that is happening across the globe might differ from one country to other country, from one community to other, facing the impact of the climate change in the modern times. And in times to come, the recent reports of United Nations, it suggests that we are going to face lots of difficulty in future till we reach that 2100 with respect to time frame. As we all know that 2015, three important documents that the world scenario we saw, that is Paris Climate Change Agreement, then Sustainable Development Goals, and this Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction. So we promised all our global community that each and every nation, each and every community is going to limit themselves with respect to temperature rise, limit themselves with respect to how and what kind of life they lead, so that the curve of climate change menace can be reduced and we can provide a sustainable life to our future generations in times to come. May I request each and everybody to kindly mute the mic so that that conversation that is taking place that goes smoothly, please. Thank you so much. So I begin my this presentation with this small but very wonderful, powerful quotation by David Suzuki. He says that in a world of more than 7 billion people, each of us is a drop in the bucket. We are droplets only. So on from one angle, we can think that we don't have that much power to bring changes in the society, to bring changes in the way we live, or whether we can contribute something or not in the climate change action plans on individual basis. But with enough drops, if each and everybody provides some of the support to the government, to the society as a whole, then we can definitely fill any bucket that is required in times to come, because contributions from all the stakeholders in this modern scenario where we are facing lots of disasters at one point of time. We, at all the nations, we have faced this SARS attack of this COVID-19, and at the same time, the other climate phenomenon like this earthquakes, or like this your incessant rainfalls, or drought scenarios and things like that, or sea surge at the coastal cities areas, that is not stopping. So at one geographical location, you are going to find so many of disasters coming on that particular area, and we have to face so many things at one point of time. So only government cannot do each and everything. Because we form those governments, we as individual citizens, we have to be responsive enough. We have to contribute at individual level, so that we complement to the works that governments are doing at respective states, respective countries, so that overall that contribution goes towards making a disaster resilient, or you can say climate change resilient society in times to come, when we see ourselves by 2100. If we talk about the causes and effects of climate change, everywhere we are observing the temperature rise, the rise in sea levels because of the glacial that melting, then unpredictable weather patterns we are observing. We are observing extreme weather events. Number of weather events are increasing like anything, be it India or be it Nigeria. Everywhere we are facing that. Then land degradation is taking place. The quality of land or quality of soil that is going downward. Then loss of wildlife and biodiversity. Recently, that decade of 2011 to 2020, that is IG Biodiversity Convention, lots of goals that we had set for ourselves, we could not fulfill. So we should feel sorry about that, and again re-energize ourselves, so that the new dimensions or the new goals that we set for ourselves with respect to biodiversity conservation, with respect to environment conservation, with respect to protecting the nature, with respect to conserving water, every droplet of water, each and every aspect, we have to contribute individually. So if you talk about the social impacts of this climate change, what is happening? Like in today's newspaper, we have observed there is one state in India that is called Uttarakhand. Because of this climate change, lots of population is displacing from those areas because of scarcity of water, scarcity of natural resources, and things like that. Then poverty associated with that, because if you are moving from one place to other place, you have to again re-establish yourself with respect to the industry, with respect to economy, with respect to the livelihood options there. So loss of livelihood everywhere we are facing. Then associated hunger, associated malnutrition, especially the disadvantaged sections of the society. It can be elderly people, it can be women, pregnant women, it can be children, or it can be poor people who might not be getting proper calorie intake because of this dislocation of people, or because of the earth not producing enough that food for the ever increasing population. One report of UN says that by the end of this century, our population from 7 billion, it is going to reach 10.84 billion. So these new mouths, a new life that is coming into this earth, everybody needs food, everybody needs protection from climate change. So we have to think on those lines, how we are going to provide sustenance, how we are going to provide benefits for the basic needs. I'm not saying we are going to make each and everybody rich, but basic needs proper food, proper shelter, proper nutrition, and things like that, health facilities, and so on and so forth. So these shortages that we are visualizing right now, probably 50 years from hence, 50 or 70 years from hence, we might not be in a position to provide each and every mouth the proper food or the shelter or the health facilities that they require. So basically, if we talk about the causes, because of rapid industrialization, unscientific growth, unorganized growth, I mean, cities are booming up like clusters without thinking what is going to happen to the that population influx. I talked about the displacement of people. Everybody who is leaving Uttarakhand in India is shifting to the capital of that state, that is Dehradun, or shifting to Delhi, where I'm sitting, that's the capital of the whole of this country. So Delhi or Dehradun, these are the cities, mega cities, which are not in a position to provide facilities to each and everybody who is going inside into this city. So we have to think on those terms, how scientifically we can go for second tier, third tier, or fourth tier, small cities, but smart cities, climate smart cities, so that we can provide each and everybody proper basic hygienic that facilities are living. Then kind of energy use that is increasing day by day. So it is and we all know that because of this loss of this fossil fuel, that by 60 or 70 years hence from here, we might not be having enough fossil fuels to accommodate to the energy needs across the globe. So we have to go for new and renewable energy kind of resources like this, sun power, sun rays, and things like that, that wind power, or the tide, that power, that sun storms, that when it comes, it attacks that seashore and things like that. So we have to check all the options that is available scientifically. Science and technology advancements have to be looked into, so that new means of energy we can find out. Then agricultural practices. What is happening in India, that cash crops, which are giving more money to the farmers back, they're going for those cash crops. But what is happening? The native species, the millets and other rice and other things, which should be grown there because of the weather pattern or the climate pattern over there, they are missing those things. So a huge gap with respect to population and with respect to the kind of food items, food species that is available across their that dining table or dining that plate. Then deforestation. We are encroaching into the forest. We need new lands to give scope to ever increasing population for their residential areas, for their economy growth, or for their industrial growth and things like that. So on and so forth. Many causes the kind of life that we are living right now, that is giving more pace to this climate change that I wanted to highlight over here. And we have to give serious thoughts with respect to that, so that we can find solutions for the local problems, local solutions for the local problems. Then only we are going to foresee the disaster resilient kind of cities, smart cities, or smart villages, or climate change resilient local areas. One important aspect in today's newspaper only, I got to see it. The climate change is keeping the night temperatures increasing like anything. Compared to the research that has come out, just study recently the UN has taken on that. 47,000 persons were studied across 68 countries, and it's been found that sleep pattern is changing like anything. Because of this global heating, that night temperature is increasing faster if you compare to the day temperatures. So what happens? We go through day-to-day hardships, and in the night we want proper sleep, proper rest. So at that time, our body needs to cool down. But because of the warmer atmosphere, our body is not getting enough opportunity to cool down. So that is why that sleep breaks. You sleep for 1 hour, then again your sleep gets break. So that is why that sleep break is important. Then the because the population of that trees or plantation that has gone down, that has reduced very drastically. So this carbon sequestration, that process we have to start. Lots of trees have to be planted, and if you have to plant the trees, two important aspects I want to mention over here. First thing is that local species of trees should be attempted over there, not the species from outside, because they are not going to flourish in those areas. The other thing, once you plant a tree, you have to protect that tree to time when it reaches the optimum growth, because after planting the trees we probably forget what happens to their future and things like that. And cities or suburbs or the villages, we have to demand sustainable measures through our political leaders, through our government which is governing those areas. So we have to bring, like just now I mentioned that we are encroaching into the forest. So probably time has come when we have to bring forest inside the city, urban forest, small parks and small water bodies, or this wetland areas and small green forest inside the city. Those kinds of things are very, very important, so that the heat island syndrome that takes place in times of temperature rise, that can be reduced in those areas. There are various options for reducing our carbon footprint. Some of the examples I've mentioned over here. This is with respect to the tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. Suppose you stop using your car, then you're contributing 2.05 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. Suppose you move from this fossil fuel based cars like petrol and diesel run cars to electrified car, then you are contributing 1.95 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. Then if you are avoiding one flight, suppose you have to go from one place to other place, and if you can do that job through like we are doing. I'm not moving to Nigeria. Nigerian people are not coming here, but successfully organizing this program. So if we can avoid one flight per year, then we are contributing 1.68 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. So on and so forth. Many things we can refurbish, our houses, so that the greenhouse concept can be and improve cooking equipment, so that less energy and more output we can have from there. We can use more renewable based heating and things like that. So on and so forth. Each and every individual has this responsibility to the society, that how to reduce the carbon footprint, so that overall carbon footprint of the total human beings across the globe, that is at a particular level, so that our commitment for the Paris Climate Change Agreement to keep the tap on the temperature rise by 2100, that is 1.5 degrees Celsius, or at best 2 degrees Celsius, we can fulfill those promises to the global community. Then these are few important basic principles that every individual should know. We should be knowing what is our footprint, then only we can work on those issues which are going to reduce further the carbon footprint. We can adopt mechanisms where this online mechanisms of things, keeping your businesses, keeping your appointments with other people, or probably this work from home culture that came in this COVID-19
between the nations, among the nations, and among the communities as well, for their survival. So anyhow, we have to go toward this approach, and unfortunately, this approach is not showing us that we are going to reach till 2050 to this level. But our initiative and our efforts from 1992 are going on. So when we see the climate change, that is also the part of our discussion. That is, climate change is a global phenomena basically. One thing is weather, and second is a climate. So climate is basically a long weather phenomena. So it is a transformation, global phenomena of climate transformation. It is characterized by the changes in the usual climate of the planet. And nowadays we are popularly hearing a word that greenhouse gas emission. So this is something that is for us. And NASA's definition of climate change says it is a broad range of global phenomena created predominantly by burning of fossil fuel and add heat trapping gases to the Earth's atmosphere. Means Earth is getting hotter and hotter with each passing decades. And this we have realized in 1896, a Swedish scientist first time draw attention towards the idea of burning fossil fuel, and that he said that these are adding carbon dioxide to the atmosphere and Earth is getting hotter. But that time people not pay much attention toward this. And in 1903, it was observed that it was a realization made in the scientific community that North Atlantic region of Earth had significantly warmed. Now the alarm rung all over the world, and in 1950-60, GS calendar theory of the Earth warming came up, and due to the greenhouse gas emission, and it's literally proved that it basically was the evidence of these previous two statements. And in 1970, first clean air and Earth Day, we popularly call it an Earth Day. So its celebration started all around the world. 1988, it marked the hottest summer on record and triggered models of CO2 emission. From this time, we started. We attempt to measure the CO2 emission based global warming. And 2001, a intergovernmental panel on climate change (IPCC) was set up, and it was a clear consensus on several severe human-induced climate change. And in 2020, recently, so climate change is still a worldwide problem at that time, but 2022 it is. So we are already, we can see from 1896 we are running behind something, and it is still not in our hand. And it's we are beating our climate action targets with each passing decades, and running towards the scenario where we will require the free Earth and something like that. So timeline of we have seen this history of climate change. So important, these are the important climate dates throughout the history, where humanity thought that it should be the part of our thinking, and as a result, NASA started the modeling of this is the model you can see that from 1880 to 2100. It's a very famous model that clearly showing the anomalies in the degrees in the rising degrees of temperature from the period of 1880 to 1884, and then we came up with some more model with some new timelines, and also projected some serious picture before the scientific community. And now, if we see why climate change and people in the disaster management field are speaking on this issue from a long time, because there are the serious linkages between the climate and disaster linkage. They are direct linkage. This is the World Meteorological Organization's climate risk, extreme event, and related impact data. So if we see this circle around the Earth, so more than 35 million people affected by flood is a source from the CRED. And ocean acidification is ongoing. Climate change threatens the peatland ecosystems, and many deaths due to the various climate-fueled disasters were noted in the history. So obviously, the attention toward this is an obvious thing from the scientific community and the people who are engaged in the decision making process. And for that, if we see the SDGs, so if we see this SDG Sustainable Development Goal, so we can see 17 Sustainable Development Goals are there, and it is not shown here, but out of these 70, 10 are directly or indirectly associated with the disaster risk reduction, are closely associated with the disaster. So if we see the 13th point, the climate, that is dedicated toward the climate action. Here you can see 13th point, the climate action. And this 13th climate action has a lots of question before it. So toward which feature we are going. So it is a point that is crucial for the survival for the entire human race. And for that, as I say in the beginning of my slide, that this presentation is also includes some aspect from the key aspect from the COP26. So after observing this type of situation, world leaders from 120 countries recently convened in Glasgow for the 26th meeting of United Nations Conference on Parties. So what this 26th meet is the 26th meeting of United Nations Conference of Parties, that is COP. And here we can understand the significance of COP26, that it is the most significant climate meeting since 2015. And when the Paris Agreement was launched, after 2015, it is a very important meeting that it also gives some key guidelines that can be seen in this in the form of this rule books. But these points are still under debate. And here, the ratification of the Paris Agreement would change the scenario of the carbon market, were daily discussed. And here we can see the target for the developing countries, CDM transition accounting rules, share of the proceeds to the adaptation fund. These things were discussed, and carbon markets were rediscussed. That we can adopt this carbon market philosophy in developing countries, particularly India, China, and Brazil. They gained significantly from the carbon market under the CDM of protocol. And emission cut pledges were taken, and fossil fuels related issues were discussed. Finance and net zero targets were rediscussed. So this type of discussion were made on the global platform. And the serious picture came out that early we always used to say that we are going to hit the 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature in 2100. But the recent picture after the COP26 was really gloomy, that it is coming, the timeline coming closer. Now we have not to wait for the 2100. We are approaching toward the target toward this 1.5 degrees Celsius much before that. And if we see the climate and calamity connection, so CC connection or the climate or calamity connection. So here is the human cost of disaster report, an overview of the last 20 years from 2000 to 2019. And nothing to say that after 2019-20, we have also witnessed a global pandemic that forced the world to come on its knees. So the documentation from the last 22 is not pretty good, and you can see the picture from this report. So total disaster event by type 1980 to 1999 versus 2000 to 2019. It's a report that is documenting the 20-year period disaster. So you can see enhancement in the number of disaster, whether it's drought, earthquake, extreme temperature, flood, landslide, mass movement, storm, volcanic activities, wildlife. All the disasters are lodging significant increase during this period. So 1988, for example, you can see this 1389 large floods were there, and in 2000 to 2019 period, 3,254 floods were lost on this data. So disaster impact from 1980 to 1999 versus 2000 to 2019 was also reporting the same scenario, that reported disaster are enhancing considerably total deaths are enhancing, not enhancing considerably. Total affected people are enhancing considerably, and not very important that economic losses are enhancing. So almost you can see it's 1.6 from 1.63 trillion to 2.97 trillion. So pictures are not good. Reports are not telling the good good signs for going into the towards the resilient world. Coming on the communities issues, so we have seen that we have all we can say, we always popularly say that roti kapda or makan means the bread, clothes and shelter is the basic needs of human survival. This climate change and disaster are directly hitting on these issues. From one side, climate change is affecting the agricultural production and reducing the grain production. That's why already we can see the agriculture shrinkage, and the loss in the productivity is going to pose a serious threat toward the food security, not of India or Nigeria, but all over the world, which is under question now. So this type of issues are directly hitting the people from all over the world. So what the community is nothing else but I, we, you, they, and we all. So community is a social unit or a group of living things with commonalities such as place, norms, religion, values, customs, and identity. So they share the same sense of place situated in a given geographical area. For example, some of us are connected from the Nigerians, some of us are connected from the India. So we are sharing some common geographical area, and we can see this community in every place of the world. So durable relations and extend beyond immediate genealogically, these are also define a sense of community. So it is something that is the part of our evolution. Humans are called the social animals. So the community is something that is evolved from just right from the human evolution. So here we can see why community voice is important. We have seen in the first portion of the presentation that lots of disasters are there. We are surrounded with them. And second thing, we have observed that they are enhancing. If we are surrounded with some threat and it is reducing, so there is no much worries. But if it is enhancing, then someday it is going to touch us. So why community voices is important? Because if we not hear the community voices, this type of pictures, a very famous picture I would like to discuss here. So this was actually the real voice from the community. Against the deforestation, Chipko movement in India was launched. It was based on the Gandhian principle of protest. And here you can see the people literally, especially particularly the women, literally tied themselves to the trees in order to prevent their limbering. So they were associated with their heart and soul. We call them the trees, but they are the part of their family. So they stand for them, and it was the action that resulted the government to take note of the environmental issues raised by the community, and resulted the government taking policy decision keeping in mind the suggestion of the local community. Similar incidences was observed in the Narmada Bachao Andolan, and it also saw against the increase in the dam over the Narmada River from the local community, which resulted in the massive legal battle. So these two examples are from India, where the community stand up for the environment and their the interest of the nature. This is important. This is why we have to hear the voice of the community, because it is the community which ultimately going to pay the consequences, not the people who are taking the decision from the AC chambers or the cabins, but the community who is inhabiting that area. So the benefit of the community participation in environmental management planning are many, but I would like to raise here only the four. First thing, and very important thing, that it improves the quality of decision. It reduces the disagreement among the people. So environmental problem solving, it is very important to take the community along with all the decision making process, so that they can help in solving the problem and issues that are coming in the way of the environmental conservation, and the promoting environmental citizenship and improving procedural legitimacy that we have seen in the previous slide, that the people got disagree because of the because of not proper trust, because because of the decision makers not will not take them in the trust. And protecting our planet start from us. So for that, the communities and its members can play a vital role. And basically, it's we are now habitual of using the fossil fuel based vehicles, that car and diesel based. So we can go for the bike, bicycling for and drive less, that emit that add the less carbon into the atmosphere. We can run programs to educate the community, and we can then invite the volunteerism from the community, as the All Tripura Disaster Response Volunteer Association is also there, but the way they are volunteering for these causes. So we have to enhance this volunteership. It is good, but we have to enhance it as much as possible, not only in the world, but at every corner, or not only in India, but at every corner. So reduce, reuse, and recycle is the third mantra that can work a lot in this. So we should cut down on what we throw. So this following the simple 3 R's philosophy is highly helpful in conserving natural resources and landfill spaces. And one of the most important challenge before the humanity, that is the shortage of the water. So conserving water must be promoted. Sustainability must be promoted at all the levels. And we have to shop wisely, buy less plastic, and bring a reusable shopping bag. And for that, government is also taking initiative, as Ashish sir discussed in his presentation. And long-lasting bulbs are the bright area. The saving is also important. It is not the earning is always give you the benefit, but the saving also give us the benefit. If we are earning 100 and we start earning 200, so it is good. But if we are earning 100, but if we start saving 50 as well, so it is also going to benefit a lot. And trees provide the food and oxygen, so everyone should plant a tree. I have heard about the case of a country, probably from the Thailand, where when the student pass out, so he planted a tree. So in this way, we should promote the tree plantation, and don't send chemical into the waterways. We should reduce the toxicity on the water bodies of our planet, because we have no second planet. And after all this discussion, I am on the last slides. So tell of loopholes is a major problem at all the levels, at decision making, at implementation level. So disaster relief. So thank God it's a panel of experts, as we are discussing, or we have no funding for the disaster that have not yet happened. So instead of reactive, why not proactive? So when we see our global disaster risk reduction framework or disaster management framework like SANDI, so already this thing is mentioned that we should create a more reactive world toward the disasters than the proactive world toward the disaster than the reactive one, because it is not so that if something is not happened, that it is not going to happen. It is a guarantee that it is never happen. So we should be proactive at all aspects, especially the decision making and the practical approach. Gap area are more, but the keys are we often all over the world when the framework formed, or the nationwide when the framework formed, sometimes there are the same plan, and regardless of the regional characteristic, it's implemented and imposed everywhere. Some medicine work for me, it is not a guarantee that it is also going to cure you, or it is also going to work you. So we should need to adopt specialized or plans as per the regional requirements for implementation or execution purpose. and local knowledge, experience, skills, and resources and techniques is an asset of the society. Implementing something from a panel discussion or somewhere like the elite from the decision from the elite person and incorporating or forcefully incorporating at certain area, it is also proved disaster in the previous time. So with those experience, we should go for the local knowledge, experiences, skills, resources, and techniques, and implement it in our all the management, in all the EMP environment management plans, and negligence about the local culture, stakes, and heritage. So this is also a contradicting point. So the people who are engaged in the decision making process, it should be the part of their thinking. They should keep in their mind that it is without neglecting these things, they may create the path of failure for entire plan. So prioritization is decided by outsider and not the stakeholder or the community itself. The prioritization, when the community gives some suggestion, then it is based on their own experiences. And when an outsider, regardless of it doesn't depend on it doesn't matter that how much knowledge he have. So somewhere the prioritization, when decided by the outsider, it goes wrong. And for this, I would like to quote the example of the division of the countries. Some outsider who never visited a geographical area, he create a line, then he not know about the connection of the communities, connection of the people with their the heritage that is available on that land. The local community does not have any information about the environment or disaster management plans for their area and the role of different sectors in helping the community during disaster. This is the key issue. Many times, almost all the people when of the community not know about whether any plan is there for their community. So nations have their national disaster and plan, states have their state disaster and plan, districts have their district disaster and plan. But when you ask the person who is riding a bicycle on the road, so he said that what you are talking about. So this disconnection should not be there. So local community must be aware about these type of environmental and disaster management plans. And one such example that how decision making without going into the actual ground can be disaster. So it is an example from the Aral Sea. I am taking a very less time to complete this, but Aral Sea was once the fourth largest lake in the world, and now it is a dusty graveyard. You can see the pictures. These camels are there, and this ship wreckage is there. And these ships some time ago floating into the sailing into the water of Aral Sea. Now there is no drop of water you can find here. So this is the catastrophic result of Soviet government that when divert the water to irrigate the desert region for the cotton industry. So this is some result when we implement this type of planning without consideration of the practical aspect. And shrinkage of the Aral Sea, I have quoted intentionally because it is considered as one of the planet's worst environmental disaster ever. So region is once prosperous fishing industry and has been essentially not only destroyed, but bringing unemployment and economic hardship for the community that is inhabiting in this region. So recently we have witnessed this COVID-19, but believe me that this COVID-19, we were telling each other that be sure to wash your hands and all will be well. But nothing is going to be well because following after the COVID-19 all over the world, including India, that witnessed a hit of 29% GDP drop. And you can see the larger one, that is climate change. So imagine its disaster potential if it hit this ground. So what is going to remain? The planet. So one day we are going to face a situation that is really going to make us an extinct species ultimately. So with these words, I would like to end this presentation, and thank you so much for your patience listening. And over to you, Arup sir. I'm stopping the share.
Thank you, Engineer Avdesh Kumar. from Bhatis University, assistant professor. Enlightenment for your presentation, and I would request our honorable esteemed participant, if they have any sorts of question in their mind, they can chat in the chat box, and our guests are here. They will try to answer them one by one. So thank you once again, Avdesh Kumarji. So we have our next and final speaker for the webinar, uh, Dame Dr. Professor Mehma Mus, connected from Mumbai, eminent international scholar. Welcome to you, ma'am, on board. The stage is all yours. Professor Dame Mehma Mus.
Hello, put this on, Kashid. Doctor, if you can hear my voice, that
Yes,
should be
yes,
enough.
madam. I can hear.
Yes.
Yes, yes, we are hearing you. Clear and loud.
Yes, you're not putting the video on, so I cannot see what is happening. Let me first of
Okay.
all congratulate both you, your organization, and especially the last speaker, whose presentation was so excellently researched and well done, with facts and figures at his fingertips. It was a pleasure to hear him and
Thank you, ma'am.
understand what climate change is really impacting and some of the causes which have brought it about. You took me by surprise, Dr. Arda, because you didn't really inform me yesterday that you expected me to say a few words here for today's meeting. But anyway, I will speak since you wish me to do so. Climate change, as I mentioned in my last session when we met last week, the real
Sure, ma'am.
cause
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
the real causes are much deeper than what we are looking at today. How for not just thousands of years, one should say it goes over a span of, what should one say, not just thousands, but more than tens of thousands of years, climate is changing. And the real causes, real deep-seated causes, are the movement of this planet Earth along with the solar system through the Milky Way galaxy. And it is the effect of the currents of light and sound frequencies that are coming from outer space through all the regions of space, through all the regions of stars and constellations that we are passing through, that is the real underlying cause of climate change. All that we have spoken to and seen today and in the last session is something which has been exasperated by the people of the planet Earth. As I mentioned last time, one of the major causes in the present situation is nuclear radioactivity, which has happened in the last 75 years, ever since the first Hiroshima bomb was dropped in Japan in the Pacific Ocean. So if the waters of the earth, the soil, and the air are contaminated through nuclear radioactivity, and that in turn creates lowering of the proportion of oxygen gas in the atmosphere, then this is one of the activities of people of planet Earth, which is sort of an immediate cause of the present climate change situation. But climate change has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. We all know there's the first ice age, then there was the global warming, then the second ice age, and again a global warming, and then the third ice age, and the last global warming resulted in very remote historical records such as Noah's Ark surviving the uh, flooding of the waters of the ice melting of the third ice age and so on. So this kind of long-term view of climate change should help us to better understand what we as human beings can do to protect ourselves. I won't say that we can prevent it. No, you cannot prevent climate change because it is inbuilt in nature. But you can protect us. We can protect ourselves from the effects of climate change. And some of these methods of protecting ourselves have been very well brought out by Mr. Avidash Kumar in the last speaker, because he has pinpointed many of the practical things that people can do to prevent ourselves from being affected by the consequences of climate change. I think this is all I would like to share in today's meeting, because really, if you had informed me that you expected me to be a speaker, I would have prepared a session for you. But it is a thought-provoking situation, and even the United Nations, as you well know, is focusing on climate change as one of the factors which require to be studied for the Sustainable Development Goals to be put into practice. Because if we don't take care of ourselves and of our environment, then who are the sufferers? We ourselves. It's a matter of action and reaction. See? So with these words, I will stop speaking and give you all blessings to continue your good work. Dr. Arupta, you can invite your next speaker.
Madam, you are our last speaker. You can go ahead.
Oh, well, as I've said, you didn't inform me that you wanted me to be a speaker, but I have shared with you what I would like to say. If you want me to go into ancient texts and give you all the references of all the different stars and constellations of stars that have in the past affected climate change, I can do that, but it's not going to be of much help for the present situation, because what is inbuilt in nature is inbuilt. Everything that has been planned for thousands of years is pre-planned. You cannot change that. What you can change is your own activities and how you can prevent the effects of climate change from affecting your daily life. And that has been very well brought out by the last speaker. So I will not continue speaking any further. I would just like to mention one thing though. I'm seeing in front of me on the screen the symbol of the Boy Scout movement. Late Lord Baden-Powell, the founder of the Boy Scout movement, and his wife, Lady Olive Baden-Powell, have put into effect one very practical activity, and that is do a good turn a day. If you practice this, do a good turn a day to anybody, everybody, whether it's to an animal or whether it is to a bird or whether it's to a human being, if you help other people and other living creatures to survive, in turn, Mother Nature will look after you. So do a good turn a day is a way in which you can protect yourself against climate change. It also reminds me of my younger days in Africa. In East Africa, in the 1950s, wildlife was roaming and teeming in the plains. It was magnificent to see nature in its wilderness. You could drive through areas like the Ngorongoro crater and see herds of elephants below you. You could drive through the areas of near Arusha and see the Maasai people, how they lived close to nature. You could drive through the center of Africa, which was exactly the heart of Africa, north, south, east, west, right in the center is Dodoma, very dry area. There also, people scratch the earth to survive and create a livelihood from eating even small insects like reptiles, like lizards. You see? So, food supply and scarcity of food is part of where you are living on planet Earth. Your food habits and your method of survival by eating whatever food is available is part of your survival kit. And here, I would like to say that in India, at least, large communities of people have developed food habits which are based on what is locally available. For instance, in South India, although people may say that they are vegetarian, still they will eat fish. So will Bengal. The Bengalis eat fish even though they are vegetarian. Whereas in Gujarat, many people who are vegetarian will consider even eggs to be anathema, especially Jain people will not touch any, not even living creatures like animals and birds and eggs, but they will not even touch root vegetables. So your lifestyle of food of what you eat depends largely on what food supply is available to you. And we must protect that. If we pollute the waters, we are polluting our food supply, we are shrinking the intake and availability of what is given to us by nature in order to survive. So one of the priorities of how to combat climate change is take care of Mother Nature and take care of your environment and cultivate the soil by transforming it by the power of sound vibrations of mantra. There are many mantras in Vedic Hindu texts, in Jain texts, in Avanstan texts. It is the sound power of mantra that can transform negativity to positivity and create a protective umbrella around you and produce light energy force. Also, bring about restoration of the balance of oxygen in the atmosphere. So, these are some of the practices that you can put into daily life practice, which people don't think of very often. So I will conclude now with giving you blessings, Dr. Arupta. Please carry on with your good work and salutations to all the speakers, both today and the last session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your enlightenment. I'll pass the microphone back to Professor Avdesh ji. If any of our respectable participants has any question, contribution, they can go ahead. And meantime, we are being also connected by one of our another facilitator, humanitarian actor, Ambassador Dr. Shahad Umar Farooq, who has been joined us today despite of his busy schedule. So, Avdesh sir, microphone back to you. You are muted.
Okay, thank you, Arupji. And first of all, I would like to personally thanks ma'am for such a encouraging and wonderful words about my presentation. And whenever ma'am speak, I can hear a sound in the background is coming for enchantments, and it's really create a very beautiful environment. And thank you so much, ma'am, for all your inputs and all your blessings. And now I would like to welcome Farooq sir. And Farooq sir is there. Hello.
Yes, my dear brother, it's my great pleasure to be with this my beautiful family once again from Nigeria. I say I really appreciate this program, and may the God Almighty continue to enrich you people. One
Great to
love
see you
from
here.
Nigeria.
Great to see you and hear your voice, sir. If you can turn your video camera on, so we will get the chance to see you as well.
Yes, though I am in
Great,
my
great,
hostel, in my
great.
hostel room, as you can see.
Yeah, we can see.
Presently, I am
Otherwise,
on training program. Yes.
actually we are habitual of watching you in the car. You always in a vehicle. So first time we are sitting you in the hostel room. So great to see you. Welcome, sir. Welcome. Please, over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. My pleasure, sir.
Ambassador Farooq, if you have any of your keynote views on the climate change issues, because we are focusing on the community voice on climate change and action for sustainability. If you have any of your contribution, the microphone is all yours. Kindly take it up.
So thank you very much once again, Ambassador Arup and the disaster management family generally. You see, the choice of the topic, sustainability to climate change, is timely and it is a welcome development because climate change is a continuous process that we really need to, at the community level, as a group, as even individuals, we need to, one, be aware of it because there are a lot of people. The major challenge we are facing is a lot of people are not aware that they are also part of the problems or the causative agents for climate change by their way, their attitude, the way they behave, and how they dispose things. So I think this seminar is very, very timely, especially when it comes to enlightenment, because climate change virtually affects all aspects of our life, from food security, disasters, general security, physical security. Just mention it. It all affects not only us, it also affects our environments, both our animals. So definitely we really need to start from enlightenment, that is telling people about climate change so that we can be able to combat it, because the sustainability all depends on us. Because if you look at the way we live our life these days, the emission of the greenhouse gases is so much that the composition of the atmosphere, you will discover that the carbon dioxide emission from our daily activities is so high. So, but with our attitude, when we have the awareness, we can be able to check it. So I think that is my only contribution, and I commend the organizers of this program for trying to enlighten the community, and we need to do it continuously. We need to be talking about it, because in every problem, once you start to talk about it, definitely you will get the solution by special grace of God. Once again, the organizers, the participants, was. And I urge us that are listening today to also go back to our social cycles, our religious cycles, our family cycles, to enlighten them. Let's take this campaign so serious. Those of us that are here, if it is your church, your mosque, where you pray, tell them about climate change. Where you are relaxing with your friends, tell them about climate change. Your family, discuss about climate change. So the more we are aware, the less negative effect we are going to have about it. Because since the beginning of industrial revolution, that has been the beginning of climate change problem, and we cannot reverse it. You know, we are talking of technological development. Yes, it is making things easy. You see, this is one of the advantages of technological development. You people are from India, I am in Nigeria, we are communicating, we are interacting. Yes, but the emission of the greenhouse gases is so high. So once again, I say thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to make my contribution, and I really commend the organizers of this very important seminar in the sense that it will help us to reduce the greenhouse emission. Once again, I say, God bless you all.
Enlightened Ambassador Saad Umar Farooq for your kind contribution. So now I'll request Avdesh Kumarji, if our esteemed participants have any question, they can just chat in the chat box. And if they have any contribution, because we try to develop ourselves in case we may have some lapses in organizing our program here today. So we are improving day by day. We have our network challenge also at our end. So gradually, we want to take everyone together, and we want to develop ourselves and also the community. So I am handing over the microphone to Avdesh ji. Please take it up.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead, Avdesh.
Thank you, Arupji, and I believe it's a wonderful session. And all the thank you so much for inviting me. And it was a wonderfully executed and timely session. I think we are finishing it within the time period. Nowadays, not only the webinar, not only the climate change targets, but the webinars are also very difficult to finish within the time period. So we are on the time. So this is a blessing for our from all of for all of us. And but the thing is, all the members who are hearing us, that whether we are connected from Nigeria, India, so any part of the world, if you are standing, if you are sitting, if you are laying down on planet Earth, so we are the fellow passengers. What is the meaning of the fellow passenger? Fellow passenger stands for the person who is traveling in the same vehicle and along with us. So we are the traveler of the same planet, and it is very important for all of us. It doesn't matter we from which country we belong from, that the vehicle should be in the good condition. It should not out of order. Otherwise, no one of us is going to reach anywhere. So when a vehicle fell down in any canyon, or it faced an accident, so it is a threat to the life of every passenger who is traveling with that vehicle. So with these words, I would like to once again establish the seriousness of this issue, the global issue, and hope you are getting what point I try to make here. So with these words, I would like to end this presentation, and over to you, Arup sir. All the deliberation was very good, and the response that I have received from the participants, I'm very delighted to have this. I can see Ashok Dhingra sir, a very senior person who dedicated his life towards the resilience, and he has a great contribution to the society, and he's also with us. I can see in the video camera. So it is also a blessing that such a senior members are joining your program and giving the blessings in the cause. And I can see some of our members from Nigeria who are regularly join us in every program. So thank you so much for joining us today as well. And over to you, Arup sir, for summing up this.
Thank you, Avdesh, sir, for the input. So finally, we would request Ashok sir, who is connected with us. So Ashok sir, if you have your contribution, suggestion, blessing, because we are trying ourselves. We have a lot of our challenges, but still we go on moving. And when you have taken your valuable time and you have joined us here, so it is something that we are on the right track. So Ashok sir, we would like to hear your experience. If you could kindly contribute from your end, your experience, so that it helps us in our day-to-day activities. Microphone back to you, Ashok sir. Ashok sir, microphone back to you. We are patiently waiting to hear from your end. No, sir, you are not audible, sir. You are muted. Kindly unmute your mic, please. No, sir, not yet. Still unmuted.
So it's trying to unmute. I can getting the message on Navdeep Singh ji.
Hello,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, clear loud. You are
No,
clear and loud,
no,
Ashok sir. Welcome, sir. Yes,
I'm
sir. Please go
audible.
ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
You are audible.
very nice to meet again, and I am thankful to all team of this group, especially Avdesh ji and others.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. So nice of you.
I know you have a lot of long experience of dealing with the community and serving to the society. And Arup ji, I think we should end this show and with a blessing that all the blessings we have received in this session, and with a commitment, we will meet again on this issue and with some key initiative that can be followed and absorbed in the society and executed well.
So, thank you, Abdesh sir and Ashok sir. So, before we wind up for the valedictory session, I would request Ambassador Abdullah ma'am, Executive Director, Association of Climate Change Professional Nigeria, for her valedictory, and then we'll wind up. If any of our esteemed participants has any question, they can put it in the chat box so that our facilitator can answer them. So, madam, microphone back to you, Abdullah ma'am.
Thank you very much, our facilitators, our invited girls. Like I said at the beginning of the program, we will not regret being here, and we shall not go back home the way we came, at least by joining this particular platform and attending this sensitization and awareness training. You have learned one thing that I'm sure when you go back to the community, you will be able to share it with other people, and then we will move on from there. Because climate change is seriously affecting us per second. Like my boss, Ambassador Saad Umar Farouk, has said, we must talk and talk and talk. Then take action, and take action. You, the facilitators, have really done justice to the topic today. It is left for us to now put it in practical. It is not all about doing the talking. We need to do the practical work. We cannot stop emission, but we can reduce it by 50% at least. So thank you very much for honoring our invitation. Thank you very much, Otrapura, and thank you very much, ACCPN. Ambassador Arubda, back to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Enlightened one from your end. Yes, definitely, madam. Charity begins at home, as Ambassador Dr. Shahad Umar Farooq has elaborately discussed, and our speakers also elaborately discussed. So, time has come to take the assess of the situation. Going back, whenever we go, we should have a discussion with our friends, family, neighbors, and regular sensitization should be taken up. And disaster management is everyone's business, as Ambassador Farooq Umar already used to say. So we hope the webinar was fruitful. We tried our level best despite of our limited resources at our end. In the coming days, we will also get support from all the participants. And today's webinar was organized by All Tripura Disaster Response Volunteers Association in conjunction with Association of Climate Change Professional Nigeria. So we hope the two webinars are almost over. We need more two webinars. So we'll try to invite all of you to come and we'll discuss on the various issues on the climate change. So we have planned. So in the coming Sunday also we are hoping to have a session on climate change issue. So thanks to all the respectable participants for staying with us and liking us and giving their support to us. So
Arup,
before we wind
Arup,
up, so just I'm passing back to Avdesh ji
uh,
for his final.
Just I wanted to say that I have shared a feedback link in the chat box. So for getting e-certificate, please fill that that form so that you can receive the certificate for the attending as well. Okay. So it is available in the chat box, and I request the administrator to keep the link on for a while so that all the people can feedback without any problem. And Navdeep Singh, thank you so much for such a beautiful word. And I can see your message. So thank you. So it is available. Please
And
must
this
fill the
yes,
feedback form. It is available in the chat
and
box.
for the kind information of our esteemed participants, this program is YouTube. It is live in the YouTube also. So that has been done by one of our volunteers. Still, he is monitoring the queue of his computer. So we hope to just edit the same and put it in our YouTube page also. So right now we have been connected with a participant from Trinidad Tobago who is with us in the YouTube live. So we hope we can upload the video very shortly and just we can share. So invite all of our participants well in advance for the coming Sunday. We have a topic and we hope to hear more and topics will be generated shortly. Thank you. And link is open. Those who have received the link, I do request to fill up the link for getting the e-certificate,
Yeah,
and
please.
so they can put their name in the chat box along with their email, so that we can check together, and it will take some time from our end to release the e-certificate.
Okay, those who have filled the certificate, they can leave the meeting. I can see my student as well. So I think Shyam, you are connected.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Great to see you here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay.
Ambassador Arup, are you there?
Very much there, Ambassador Dr. Saad Umar Farooq. We are delighted to hear from you again and again.
So thank you very much. You
Please
just
go
have to
ahead.
bear with me. Know the nature of my work. I've been like from now to December, I will be so tight, so tight. Presently, I am on a training program. We live in a hostel. I'm no longer in my house. So, but anytime there is anything, if I have the opportunity, I will be with you people. Even if I'm not there practically, I'm always there with you in my spirit.
Yes, sir. So we expect the next week we get you as a one of the facilitator in our program. So we are designing everything from tomorrow onwards till the Sunday. So we get a good time so that we can get you here in the same because we have more total four webinar. It will be a session on climate change related issues in conjunction with Association of Climate Change Professional Nigeria.
No problem. Just send me ahead of time to see if I can be able to squeeze time. But now where I am Monday to Sunday, every time doing one activity or the other from now till December for the period from this July till December. But just send me the link ahead of time to see if I can be able to squeeze time out of it. But I will get back to you as early as possible.
Thank you, sir. So I think Avdesh sir want to say something because he every time Avdesh sir used to request me and he used to ask about you, how you are going on. And so Avdesh sir, Farooq sir is still here. We are fortunate he is here with us still. So if
I
you
just,
have any input,
oh,
you can go ahead.
I was just, there is nothing serious. I was just asking for his video camera on that he already done, and so that we can take a group selfie. Right? It was only, yeah,
Yes,
nothing
we can do so. Yes,
serious.
we can do so. We can take a group selfie, everyone.
So if it is possible to please all turn on their camera so
Yes,
that we
yes, yes,
है ना
yes. We request. Yes, we request everybody to switch on
Remove the pin. 8 minutes. I carry now. No, will be taken. Hmm. I'm not guessing it. See? You'll have to switch it on from your end. There's nothing I can do on this side.
Okay.
Later, say smile, please.
Ingra sir, તમે અમારી
Yeah.
મીટિંગ આવેલા છો એક વખત ઝોરેસ્ટ્રિયન કોલેજની મીટિંગમાં યાદ હશે અહીંયા અમે લોકો પ્રોગ્રામ હશે સંજાનમાં
Okay, Arup ji, Ashok ji, thank you. Disconnecting now.
So thanks everyone. So we are winding up our meeting. Thanks to everyone for joining. Take care and hope to see you next Sunday with another enlightenment subject with different more speakers. And thank you once again. Thank you. Take take care
Thank you very
and be
much.
safe.
Bye bye. See you guys
Thank you,
again.
sir.
I love
Sir, thank
you
you.
all, and God Almighty will continue to help us in serving humanity. Bye from Nigeria.
join
Bye.
you
Take
every
care.
Sunday afternoon and stuff. We have our own CSC meeting. College meeting. Mostly every Sunday afternoon. We'll try to join in future when free. Try to make this work. And congratulations for the good work. Congratulations and carry on with your good work.